So here's the assignment, that we need to develop our authentic self. We need to pay attention to our interior and submit that to God. And that's going to be kind of step one, is to be sensitive to what we're thinking and what's going on inside our hearts spiritually. 2 Corinthians chapter 13, beginning about halfway through verse 5, the Apostle Paul says, "Examine yourselves to see whether you are in the faith. Test yourselves." So just as we test spirits, we should be testing ourselves, looking in the mirror and asking questions. Lord, what's going on? The next thing, find a trusted companion. You know, we need friends that can stand there and lift us up when we need to be lifted up. We also need a friend every now and then that can knock us down when we need to be knocked down. It says in Proverbs 27:17, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." Next, move out of your comfort zone. Isaiah 42:9, this is one of my favorite passages. This is the English Standard Version. It says, "Behold, the former things have come to pass, and new things I now declare. Before they spring forth, let me tell you of them." God is always about change. And we need to be good with change. And the thing is, most of us here are fine with change. I am totally cool with change. As long as you all are changing to the way I think you ought to change to, I think change is a great idea. No, it's about moving off of our dime to someplace new. And that is all about being obedient to God, listening carefully to Him. And that's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard, which is why you need to do this fourth thing. Pray for courage. Deuteronomy 31, verse 6. "Be strong and courageous. Do not fear or be in dread, for it is the Lord your God who goes with you. He will not leave you or forsake you." This exercise of going beneath the surface, of questioning every thought that we have and submitting it to God, seems tedious, but the truth is, that's just an excuse. It seems scary. Because we might actually question a whole lot of things about where we are and how we've ended up here. And we might see that God might be calling us to a different direction. We might like the direction we've been on all this time, but that's in part because we've convinced ourselves that we've had to. I'm going to end with Ephesians chapter 1, halfway through verse 16. "I pray for you constantly, asking God, the glorious Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, to give you spiritual wisdom and insight so that you might grow in your knowledge of God. I pray that your hearts will be flooded with light so that you can understand the confident hope He has given to those He called, His holy people, who are His rich and glorious inheritance." We are God's inheritance, and we get to open the eyes of our hearts and see things as God sees them, which means seeing ourselves as God sees us. That transformation is what makes a difference in our lives and the lives of those around us, and that's what we're praying for. That's going to mean digging into that below the surface, ice cold water, not fun stuff, but we get to trust that God is there with us. We get to live knowing that as we surrender each element of our lives to God, that He transforms us into being what we were always intended to be, an absolutely unique creation of His. So let's go about that journey of looking in the mirror, not just at the reflection we see back at us, but what lies deeper than that, and surrender it to God.